Welcome back to On the Scout. I'm Don. Let's talk about what I bring in my day pack when I guide elk hunts. Let's dive into my day pack. So what a day pack is a backpack that you wear and have all the things you need for a day. So how big should a day pack be? From my hunting guide perspective, I go for a little bit bigger than most people. I go for like 40 or 50 liters range. So a big pack can be overpacked by a beginner, but an experienced outdoors person or a hunter packs exactly what they need in the backpack no matter how big it is. The bigger backpack allows me to have all the layers I need, whether it be a hot weather hunt all the way out to an extreme cold weather hunt. I get to use the same backpack the whole hunting season. When things go kind of sideways, I can have my bigger backpack help carry some of the client hunters' water bottles, their food, their jackets, and other stuff. You know, hunting guide isn't a reporter, but sometimes it just happens. So a bigger backpack really allows me to overload if need be. And also sometimes a hunter wants to have the elk heart or liver that night, so we can bring that right back in a bigger backpack. I like a backpack that has a frame in it. So let me show you just a quick look at my unloaded Helicontex Matilda backpack. This is kind of an Alice style, old style rucksack. But the good thing about this pack is that it is a good supportive hip belt and it has a solid plastic and metal frame. So I can actually carry quite a bit of weight despite this being a medium, like kind of a one night or a day pack size backpack. So let's talk about what goes in the backpack, and you'll see this backpack better once it's loaded up. So most importantly in my backpack, I have water. You can't survive that long without water. I like to have a Nalgene. This is like the colored heat resistant Nalgene. This can have hot water in it or cold water. So I like to have a Nalgene water bottle. It has a wide mouth. It is heat resistant plastic, so I can put hot drinks inside if need be, or boiling water even. And the wide mouth, if this bottle does freeze, which it will freeze on a hunt in the mountains, I can use like a stick or a knife to pick the ice open and still get a drink out of this. Around the Nalgene, I have this titanium nesting cup that fits in. It doesn't take up any more space, adds a little bit of weight, but I can make coffee by a campfire. I can make a little bit of food, some soup out there in the field in the midday break. The thermos, I really like the thermos because it allows me access to have hot coffee. I like hot coffee throughout most of the morning into the afternoon, and a good thermos like this Hydro Flask will keep drinks nice and hot throughout the morning. Not pictured here, as I like to carry about 1,000 calories of food for a day hunt. I like to have a PB&J, I like to have a meat and cheese sandwich with mustard, I like to have a big pile of candy bars and energy bars, and maybe even a few powdered drink mixes like Gatorade or Liquid IV or whatever have you, to keep, snacking along the day. Basically, lunch begins after breakfast ends, and lunch ends at the first bite of dinner. I'm gonna be snacking all day, because if you don't take calories in from your day pack, then you're not gonna be hunting very effectively. The next most important things in the day pack is the first aid kit. So this first aid kit is fairly large. This is an expedition type first aid kit. If you're not trained in wilderness first responder or you're not an EMT, carry just enough first aid kit with you that matches your training level. And also I have a quick clot here. It's very important on a rifle hunt, a gun hunt. And I also have a tourniquet. So if you don't have training on a tourniquet use or quick clot use, you need to get some, because you're out in the backcountry hunting, and not having that training while carrying around dangerous weapons is probably not good for your health and long-term existence. So get that training and carry the right gear. Here I have my guide and hunting belt. It has the accessory pouch that has ammo, it has a bit of survival supplies, knife sharpener, lens wipe, water purification, it has a gun lubricant pack in it too. So basically, this little pouch allows me to keep running a rifle or a pistol. The pistol here is my usual Smith & Wesson 357 Magnum, and the knife is the Puma White Hunter big game hunting knife. I really like a big game hunting knife over a smaller blade or a disposable blade knife. I already have a video on this belt rig that I like to carry while guiding hunts and hunting, so check out that video please. Let's have a look at this Puma White Hunter knife. Really cool, really unique Puma White Hunter, classic lines. Really useful blade for big game. Designed for Africa, works great for elk. Who would have thought they're the same size animal? Moving over here, I have hearing protection if it's gun season. The hearing protection is electronic active protection, so I put it in. I can still hear all the fine noises. I can still hear whispers. I can hear like leaves crunching. And if the hunter is really insufferable, I just turn on a podcast and I can listen to Audible and ignore everything they say with this same Bluetooth headset. Here I have my binocular harness. It is the Sitka Binocular Mountain Ops harness. And my preferred binocular for guiding is a Swarovski EL Range. It's a laser rangefinder bino. I just really like having the 2-in-1 setup instead of having an independent rangefinder. I still carry a backup rangefinder in case some dirt or water gets on the lenses of my Swaros, so I can still rangefind it with a backup rangefinder. Sometimes if I want to shoot far, not having the range really would just end the hunt. I feel redundancy for rangefinder is really important in what I like to do as a hunting guide. On the other side here, I just keep whatever have you ammo or whatever accessories in the other pouch, but really importantly, I have a wind indicator, a little wind puffer. That way I can tell which way the wind's going. If the wind is swirling in the bottom of a draw or the thermals are shifting, I just need to know about that so I can strategize against the wind as it shifts on me and my hunter. In most cases, on a full day hunt, unless I know I'm not going to a vantage point, I'm gonna have my big glass. I'm gonna have my big Swarovski 20 to 60 power spotting scope. That way, in the midday when the thermals shift, we're gonna get to a vantage point. We're gonna set up our spotting scope and glass where the elk are up to, where they're bedded down, so we make a play on them in the evening portion of the hunt. Moving further down, I have a couple of game calls here. I like to have a call hanging around my neck at all times, not in the pack, because having a call, you know, in the early season, some gun seasons, most of archery, you hunt the rut, having a call accessible at all given times and the call in my mouth and the bugle, I can just communicate with the elk, call back and forth, call the elk in, or like let them expose themselves by calling back to me. Over here I have some paracord. You can't have enough paracord. When you're out in the woods, having paracord is just useful to pin back an elk leg as you're field dressing it. It's useful to get this rain poncho I have. I have a rain poncho in camouflage pattern here. I can make that into a shelter if it's downpouring on me and my hunter, or me and my team out in the woods. We can set up a little really quick shelter. We can also use the paracord to build a little blind if we're out in the open and we need to have concealment. As we're sitting there waiting for a herd to move through, we can put the camouflage poncho up, set it flat like a big panel, and we can hide ourselves behind it and only expose the tops of our heads. Here I have a binocular mount. I can take my binoculars out of my harness. I can clamp them into this mount and put it onto my tripod. I have a series of different shooting sticks. So I have this monopod. I really don't carry this that much anymore. The monopod doesn't provide much stability. I have this like sitting and kneeling folding shooting sticks. These are really nice because they fold down really compact. I can collapse them and I can put them in the side pouch on the side straps of my backpack, and I can use these to help the hunter or myself set up a longer range shot with more stability. So right here I have the Vortex Ridgeview Carbon, not my favorite carbon fiber tripod, but it's lightweight, and I have a gun vise head on it right now. So with the Arca rail set up with this Vortex tripod, I can actually mount my Swarovski spotting scope, I can mount this gun saddle vise here, and I can mount my Swarovski binocular clamp. Kind of a modular system I like to bring along. It's a bit heavier than the other rifle support, but it has a lot more purposes that I can use while out there all day. So moving further down, I have in my day pack, I'm gonna have a few lens wipes and a lens pen here. And that way, if dust and precipitation get on our rifle optics, our binos, or our spotting scope, I can clean that up and keep the optics running really nicely. Here, hand warmers, I carry 2 pairs. It does get cold. We're sitting there for sometimes like 3 or 4 hours in the midday, or maybe the cold was a little bit more than I expected in the morning portion of the ride out from camp. So I'm gonna just crack these hand warmers as needed. I'll always have a few hand warmers. And oftentimes the hunters, you know, they get cold, so having a hand warmer for your friend, to hand it to them to keep them comfortable. That way their hands can have blood circulation. They can still pull the release of their bow or pull the trigger of their rifle. It's gonna be really the big difference in making or breaking the hunt. Sunscreen, I try to find sunscreen that doesn't have much scent. All sunscreen gives off a scent because it has petroleum products, it has all sorts of chemicals in it. But I try to find one without like banana flavor. I try to find one without coconut flavor. If the elk smell my sunscreen, the thermals have turned on us, we've lost those elk anyways. Sunscreen, you gotta wear sunscreen. The sun at 10,000 feet is really strong even with clouds, and so if you don't protect your skin will blister and peel off and you won't hunt very effectively. You'll be uncomfortable. Tape, electrical tape has so many purposes, whether it's securing equipment, first aid, or even taping the muzzle of your rifle. I always carry a little roll of electrical tape with me at any given moment. That way, when a shot does happen and we don't find the elk right there, we can retape the muzzle and we can continue our stalk into snowy brush or snowy environment, and that way the mud or snow can't go in a rifle barrel. So here I have 2 headlamps. I always carry 2 headlamps. If your light goes out, you know, and spare batteries are nice, but oftentimes I'll just like put that headlamp away and pull the backup out. It's just a lot quicker. And if a headlamp gets lost or broken, whether like beating through brush in the morning or on the way back at night, I'll just have a backup spare. It weighs essentially the same as just a set of spare batteries. Further down here, I have a fire starter. I have a set of water purification. The water out most of the West, it has cows pooping in it, it has people hiking all over. The water is not super good. You don't want to get Giardia. Also, like sometimes you might run upon a cattle tank or something. You just want to have a way to purify the water that doesn't involve stopping, making a fire, and boiling it. Because without water, you won't climb, you won't stalk, and you won't glass. Here I have a lighter and a Swiss Army knife. It's just a general purpose, like little mini multi-tool. And it's a smaller blade, so I don't have to use my giant Bowie knife, my giant Puma White Hunter to like whittle or cut an apple or cut cheese. I can have a small knife to do that. So over here I have several pairs of blue nitrile gloves for field dressing game. You know, sure, like a lot of people sometimes don't use that gloves. I think it's gross. You need to wear nitrile gloves, that way you don't get any bloodborne animal pathogens through your skin and small cuts and stuff. And I carry one game bag. This is an elk-sized quarter bag. I carry that with me, so in the event that we do have opportunity to begin packing out, I'll just like take 1/4, conceal the rest of the elk, and we'll pack out 1/4 right then and there. Maybe back to the horses, maybe back to the UTV if it's close enough. Very importantly, wet wipes. Having the wet wipes is really important to clean the blood off my hands. It's really important to go poo in the mountains. And here, this is a little bit extreme, a navigational kit, but I have a large kind of a map case. This is a Veristeleca TSD map case. And inside I have a guide notebook. I have pens and dry erase markers to make notes on the map, make a tour plan. And I also have my compass and other navigational tools in the accessory pouch. That way, when my phone or GPS does go down, I'll have a backup to be able to get back to where we need to be safely. One really important thing you have to have, if you are out hunting out in the Rockies and bear country, handgun's not always the best way to go. If you're average to below average shot with a handgun, a bear moves 45 miles an hour, and they oftentimes don't come at you directly, they come in different angles. If you're not a confident handgun shooter, you're not an expert handgun shooter, you're probably better off carrying bear spray. I actually carry both. I want to have the most options, the most protection for me and my hunter when hunting out in bear country. This is a Sagan 2 saw. This is part of my field dressing kit. This is my favorite saw. It's symmetrical. The handle is nice and comfortable and round. You can really get two hands on there, and I can saw through a pelvis or a sternum of an elk so comfortably without blisters and without discomfort. This zips right through most bone, even of an elk or a large deer. Okay, let's pack all this stuff in my backpack. So I got all the equipment on the table, some layers for the moderate temperature range, and food packed in this backpack. And as you can see, the 40 to 50 liters of this backpack just gets eaten up so quickly. Even the pockets are mostly stuffed up. Of course, this is more of a guide loadout backpack than a hunter backpack. So when you go out hunting, you're probably gonna carry a little bit less. But yeah, this backpack size works perfectly for me in almost all conditions while guiding elk and deer hunts. All right, that's my day pack. Hey guys, I hope this video helps you have a successful hunt this year. There's a whole nother video coming up about clothing systems that is part of this day pack. I suggest you watch that next to get the whole experience and set yourself up for a fun hunt. As always, this is Don on the Scout. See you next time.